It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back and happy Tuesday. As you guys know, Real Housewives of Potomac, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and 90 Day Fiance all come out on the same day. It's almost virtually impossible for us to cover all of them in the same day, so instead, we cover 90 Day on Tuesday. But you guys know how this works. I can't do this by myself, so of course I have Jason from Down with Jason with me. And guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. And don't forget to hit that notification bell because it's so important. Also, tonight we're going live at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so an hour earlier for Hot Messy Topics, because I dropped the ball with Jason's James Bond movie, and now we're finally getting to see it tonight. Okay? So with that, let's welcome Jason. Hi.
Hi, I can't wait. I'm so excited because our weekend got so busy anyway that it was just virtually impossible to go see the movie. And I want to be in the mood for it. And I think like last time we did Hot Messy Topics, we just went like over and it was just so much fun. So
yeah, it's Hot Messy Topics really gets us because you get engaged in the conversation. Everyone has an opinion. We bring up a panel of like 3 to 8 people and then it's just like
It's one of my favorite things to do because I feel like when we get on, you know, we go through the day and we work and we make videos and stuff like that. But then we get to Hot Messy Topics and we're like, oh, this is great. This will be easy. This will, 45 minutes, we're done. And it's always like almost 2 hours. And it's like, okay, it's fun. So it's a good excuse. But I actually enjoyed watching 90 Day Fiance the other way this week because you know that sometimes I'm not a huge fan of anything TLC, but this show.
Which I was going to say because at first, guys, Jason was not excited about watching this, but this episode had so many kind of ups and downs, like ebbs and flows, and we were like, oh shit, this is actually a good episode.
Absolutely. Finally, I wish we get to the point sooner. With all reality TV, I wish there was just more, let's cut to the chase just a little bit.
All right. Well, we're going to jump in with the first couple because we named this 100 Makeouts, 24 Hookups. And what was it? 5 partners?
4 or 5. It started as 5 and it changed to 4. If we're talking about Steven, right?
Yes. Steven and Alina, I have to go ahead and bring them up because she was not happy here. She was actually more than not happy. She was pissed because he's trying to lead on like he has this very like modest lifestyle. He follows the commandments. He follows the Book of Mormon. But come to find out, he's been doing his own thing.
Yeah, there's one law that he's not following, and that is the law of chastity, which is very important in the Mormon religion and culture. And, I was expecting when Alina asked him, I was expecting him to say like, yeah, no, I made out with these girls or maybe like some kind of hookup or something happened. But he was like, I made out with like 100 girls and I've hooked up with 24 or 24. And then he said, and then like 4 or 5, but like really didn't go. Okay, we know what you're talking about.
I can't even, when he said made out with 100 people, I was like, I'm literally almost 30. This guy's so much younger than me. I'm 28. And I feel like I can count on 5 hands how many people I've ever kissed in my life. So 100 people, I'm like, what the hell is this guy actually doing? And then I wasn't expecting it. And then watching her when she sipped her wine, and he's like, did you just swallow that? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, where's that judgment coming from? I would take the bottle, take it home, lock his ass out, and have a night. Call my mom. She's about to go take her away from there.
And it's kind of funny because what awful timing to do this. He decides to drop this ball right before Alina's mom is coming into town, visiting from Russia to check up on her daughter. And Alina is being honest with her mom, which she should be, because her mom, she's been with her mom her whole life, her mother and her grandmother. So when she tells her mom Steven's reality is not actually reality, she's like, wait a minute, hold on. What do you mean? And then Steven, of course, is trying to kiss ass, and he got her some chocolates, which she's probably like, whatever, and tried to clean up the house a little bit. But really, at the end of the day, the mom is going to eventually ask the hard question, what are you doing with all of these girls? And were you lying the whole time just to get my daughter here? Because her daughter...
And what your apology consists of some chocolates for your mom and a kitty purse. At this point, after dropping bomb, she needs a Chanel bag.
Oh, yeah.
All right? So
yes,
get on it. Not a kitty purse you bought at the tourist section of the airport.
Well, now it makes me wonder, too, did you want to stay at the hostel so you could kind of have your cake and eat it, too? See if you could meet some more Turkish women?
The proof has been in the pudding. I mean, like, honestly, he's just
Okay.
and the fact that he wasn't willing to commit, he couldn't give her the answer of, they're there to be engaged and to get married. That is how this works. This is, it could have taken them less time than Jenny and Sumit. So I don't know why would you even go there?
Well, and you could tell
know?
she looks like she's pissed when she's going to pick up her mom from the airport. And I don't know if he was being condescending or like a smartass, but when he's like, well, good luck getting to the airport by yourself, she's like, watch me go. You don't think I can handle this? You're out here with your thumb out trying to catch any ride. You're doing more dangerous shit than I would be doing. I'll get a taxi and I will be just fine.
Yeah, we're not hitchhiking to the airport.
Yeah,
That's not happening.
No. Okay.
I'm impressed with Steven only in how he speaks Russian. Anyone who speaks more than one language, that is great. And we all should, the rest of the world does. But I'm impressed with even some of his accents and things that I've heard. I worked with Russians for a long, long time, and I'm, pretty impressed. That's cool. That's the only really good thing I have to say about Steven.
Right. And also, Val Porter hit the nail on the head. What a little hypocrite is Steven. And then what a catty little laugh there, Jason. Okay. And Walker 291952 said TLC Russian translations were terrible. Hi, Murray. Okay. So before we go ahead and bring up a special guest, we have Katrina from Frauded Media here today to join us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I didn't tell you that. So we have a special guest who's joining us. But before I do, I want to bring up another couple because we only really got to see 4, I believe. But this couple finally gave us something. Even though I don't think they should be together, the whole thing started off as a sham, lies after lies, catfishing, and everything in between. Here we go, Ginny and Sue. This couple, you know who's the real MVP of this story?
The mom.
The mom. Yes. I will close my eyes and ears until you stop this foolishness, Sumit. Yes. So they decide to go to some sort of counseling where...
Oh my gosh, this scene, Adam, was so funny. I couldn't stop laughing. I know it's serious, but I couldn't stop laughing.
Well, right. It is serious, but it is kind of comedic relief, I guess, for us watching these shows because we're watching to see what the hell is actually going on and if we can kind of follow the storyline and figure out what is the storyline and what's not. But for Sumit's parents, they want to, kind of figure out for themselves. If you want us to get to know Ginny, then I want to vet Ginny and make sure that she could be a good Indian daughter-in-law. Now, Ginny is not for this. You can read it all over her face, but the parents are like, fine, I'm moving in. And Sumit's like, moving in where? She's like, your house. Moving in.
It wasn't a question.
It was not a question at all. No, and watching Sumit in this, you can see where he's, talking with Ginny and he's like, my parents, they're so close to me. It's very important for me. Yes, parents, you can come for a couple of months and then you'll get to understand our love. And Ginny's like, no. And Sumit's like, well, I need to have my family around. It's important. And she's like, well, where the hell is my family? My family's in the United States. I don't have my family around. So what's the difference?
That's her choice.
I would not want my in-laws under the same roof. Sorry.
But, in Indian culture, this is, as Sumit's father said, there are not a lot of old people's homes. You live with your family. It's multi-generational. They have a lot of multi-generational homes, like other cultures as well. And there's nothing wrong with that in the culture. If Jenny really loves Sumit and she wants to be a part of this culture and be accepted so bad by this family, then she needs to commit to doing that. And that is I just can't wait to see when they start cooking together. And I can't wait to see what happens with Jenny and Sumit's mom.
I don't know who hates who more. I don't know if it's Sumit's mom hating Ginny or how much Evelyn actually hates Corey. And we'll get into that here in a little bit. But this is just like the season of hate. These people do not like each other. I want to go ahead and bring up another opinion before we go on to our next 2 couples. I made it so cold in here. My nose is running. Okay, here we go. Welcome, Katrina. Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. Show some love. Hi, Katrina. Oh, you're muted.
There we go. Technology. No, I can tell you who hates who more, and it's me hating all of them.
Oh,
they are all like the worst people ever. So, Steven, so I feel like Sesame Street here. The word of the day is bullshit. So
Yes.
no, he did not. He has not made out with 100 people. Like no, like we had something on another episode, another season where somebody was talking about like all the people they did. Oh, Tom was talking about all the people he had dated and this and that. No, that was all bullshit. I knew for a fact. So no, Steven, no, nobody is chasing down that dusty ass gaslighting hair. Right.
My
He was a
gosh, you
lot
have
cuter in the
opinions.
old photos. He was a lot cuter.
He
and
was.
then like and then now it's just like
You know
the
what?
hair, the everything, like no, the attitude, I don't know. Like
It's just the kind of cockiness behind it for me. The cockiness of like, she's like, so you kissed people? And he's like, yeah, I did. So, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, this girl came from Russia. She came to Turkey. She's putting up with your ass. You're not to be
expected
trusted.
to marry him.
And she's ready to marry you. And then you're pushing these commandments and this whole lifestyle on her, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing. If you're into it and you want to kind of change your religion or adopt a new religion in order to be with somebody that you love, that's something that you want to go through. Okay, I get that. But if she's doing it and you're not, then this is a big book of bullshit hypocrisy.
Right. And she is only doing it to please him. And then he's picking and choosing what parts of the Book of Mormon he decides he's going to follow. So, like their first night together, let's read some scripture, you know, because there's nothing sexier than like fanfic porn of the Book of Mormon.
and there's nothing sexier than sitting down and saying what you like about each other and what you dislike or what we need to work on. He's treating it like he's on a mission and sitting there with his companion. Like that's not how you treat a relationship.
Absolutely.
So the fact that you've hooked up with like 24 people or slept with 4 or 5 and you don't remember, you can't recall the number, is just it seems so bogus.
And the fact that she came into this as a virgin, you know, like the fact she's like saved herself for this man, or at least that's the storyline. And then he's like, boom. Why wouldn't you tell her that before she traveled all the way from Russia to Turkey?
Right. Moved, you know, left university early to do all of this stuff. Her expectations, like that's always the issue, right? It's communication and expectations. It's always the issue in the with these couples. And obviously there wasn't either of like there was no communication and the expectations are both completely different, right? And he's sitting there judging her for wanting to go wine tasting when he's scoodly pooping with every you know, wannabe Mormon girl out there in Utah, right? Like no, and he's all, oh, Jesus, you know, had women friends. Yeah, well, Jesus wasn't scoodly pooping them. Jesus drank wine. So you know what? Suck it.
Okay, all right. So Katrina, since you're on a roll right now, and again, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. How do you feel about this dynamic? Do you think who's going to come out on top here?
I think Sumit's mom is going to come out on top because she clearly runs the roost there, and you know, this is another part of the story I call bullshit on. Like she has to move in with Jenny to decide if she's appropriate daughter-in-law material. No, she decided 7 years ago that Jenny was an appropriate daughter-in-law material. When Jenny first came over and visited Sumit under the guise of being a student, sleeping upstairs in their house when she stayed there.
Yeah, because that's believable. Here's Jenny the student.
Right. And so and he was like going up there and banging her, and like they've been doing this, and mom has been hating on Jenny ever since. So she doesn't need, she's starting to kill herself over this. She doesn't need to move in with Jenny to determine that she doesn't like Jenny, right? She already knows she doesn't like Jenny, and her emotional manipulation that we learned on like the last episode that has been doing Sumit's whole life, right? We learned that my dogs are opening my door. We learned that that his dad just gave in and would cave to mom right? Mom would just do these emotional things. Dad would cave. They would lie. They would just say it's okay. They would lie and make up all these things to make mom feel better, to appease mom. So that's how Sumit grew up. So it's no wonder that Sumit was lying to Jenny over and over and over, right? It was easier than facing the consequences of whatever Jenny was going to tell him about.
Which is a very shitty way to navigate life, by the way.
I know, but she buys it and she just follows along with it. So as long as she's playing the game, he thinks he can keep playing it.
I know, but she said, at least she said at this point, you're making me look like a fool, which it's not at this point. This is like seasons and seasons of being made look like a fool because he's been lying to her the whole time. And I'm with Jenny on this. I feel like the mom is just coming in to be like, okay, watch this. This is like the last thing I can do. Let me in there. Let me live under the same roof. I'll get rid of your ass.
She hasn't gotten rid of her so far. I mean, Sumit tried to pawn her off on the Hare Krishna, and that one didn't even work, and he still won't marry her. She still won't leave. Mom is still controlling everything with her emotional manipulation, and the whole thing just needs to like light on fire, not like kill people, but like the storyline, everything just needs to go. This entire storyline is recycled from their first season, and it's the exact, I'm done. I'm, whatever. If you don't marry me, I'm moving back to the United States. Yeah. She's been threatening that for, 3 seasons. I'm over it.
I mean, at this point, yeah, he's probably like, no, you won't, because after you say it so many times, you just get to the point where, okay, well, keep saying it. If that's what makes you feel better and you actually believe you're going somewhere, because you've showed me time and time again, you're not going anywhere at all. But I do want to pan over to the next relationship really quick, because obviously, this couple, we've all thought they've hated each other, at least one-sided. Evelyn does not like Corey. We've been wondering for quite some time now, and he finally shares, hey, look, I wasn't just hanging out with this girl, Jenny, in Peru. I was actually having a full-fledged relationship with her, hooking up with her. I met her parents, and I decided to break up with her when I came back to Ecuador.
Right. So Evelyn Seeley Postrapedic over there is trying to pretend like she wasn't having other relationships this whole time. Come on now. Like, yeah, they were legally married, but they were on a break. Like, I remember all of this nonsense from the offline stuff, all of the Instagram stuff that was happening. And if you guys remember Laura from Laura and Aladdin, Laura was there and causing all kinds of problems. And there was like all of this stuff going on, and Evelyn was having her own share of, whatever you want to call them, hookups, relationships, whatever. Corey was, this is all storyline. They hate each other. You could tell even when they shared, like Corey, or I think shared their actual wedding, they're married, when they said their vows. And it's like, they could not have more disdain for each other if they tried.
It's right? So awkward and uncomfortable. But she did say in the episode, she's like, I wasn't pissed that you were hooking up with someone. I was pissed that I asked you and you lied about it. And
that's problematic. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So she was almost saying, I get it. You would have had a pass, but you just had to come to me with the truth. And now I'm telling my family, which I wasn't going to tell my family we got married, but now that I told them, they frown upon divorce. So I'm stuck in this like rock in a hard place in between. And you're over here doing exactly what you said you weren't doing. So now at the end of the day, I'm going to look like an asshole because I have to tell my parents I'm getting a divorce. And it's because you are just an idiot.
She doesn't need Corey to make her look like an asshole. She's like an asshole all by herself.
I did know. I felt so bad watching this, though. I felt so bad because Jenny really likes him.
And for reasons unknown. I don't understand, because he's about as exciting as Dole dishwater,
Well, she's here for it. And then we're talking back and forth with the translator, and she's like, he's a very special guy. I fell for this man. And then we pan over to Evelyn, and she's like, I don't like him. Eat some bull testicle soup. Move on with your life. I'm done with your ass. I like you right now, but then I don't like you. The most emotion we saw was when she felt like she got.
Yeah. And that says so much about her personality, right? It's not about the relationship and trying to be an equal, uplifting partner, right? Because you can have those issues, right? Lisa H., you're right. 2 con people. you can have, you know, issues in relationships, and you see this with Kenny and Armando. They've got real issues that real people deal with in relationships, and you see them navigating it with love, right? And an equalness, and they talk to each other, and they work through these things and stuff. You see that because they genuinely love each other. They're genuinely good people who want to, you know, better each other and better themselves. You don't have that with Corey and Evelyn. They're not at their core like ready for this situation where you're ready to be an uplifting partner to each other. Neither of them are. And when Evelyn was like, you know, all upset because she got, I mean, yeah, none of us want to be got, you know, be in that position, but that says so much about who she is, that's the concern. It's not what Corey's doing or not doing. It's not her relationship. It's not her family disliking her, you know, divorce and this and that. I mean, she's going to do what she wants to do anyway. I don't think her family really plays into it. This isn't Sumit we're talking about here. And her family, it doesn't seem like they're putting pressure on her, and she's certainly not the person to like succumb to pressure of her family. Like, she's going to do what she wants to do regardless, which is fine. If that's what you want to be, you want to go out and just surf all day and do what you want to do regardless of whatever, that's fine. Right. Do it. But don't try to pretend like that you're in a loving relationship, which I guess she's not pretending.
Yeah, she's just like, nope, this isn't. Yeah. I mean, this couple, I can't with this couple. I can't
stay. You know, that's like Mike marrying Natalie so she could stay when they clearly hated each other.
Well, it's hard to watch. It really is. It's hard to watch them have a discussion or anything. But I feel like, dude, just get out of that situation. I know. Like, why do you want to be in that situation? The family doesn't like you. The sisters don't like you. You have this beautiful woman, you know, sitting over there. Like, maybe she'll take you back. You get away from her. Get away from her.
She's in awe of you.
Genuine. Jenny is like, this seems very genuinely like authentic, you know? Yeah. And Evelyn is just in Evelyn land, and she just wants to stay there.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and pan over to the next couple, because I actually felt in this moment, I really felt bad for Biniam. Ariella obviously wants to take their son over to the United States to get this surgery. But in doing so, Biniam's like, wait a minute, I've had another American woman run off with my child before, and she never came back. Watching him crying in hysteria, and just like watching Ariella, you know, go board the plane with his kid. I didn't necessarily love their relationship. I never have, because I always feel like one is kind of doing something shady after we met Ariella's ex-husband, and then finding out that Biniam could have been doing something shady. And then we get the not the trailer, but the upcoming episodes where we see, okay, what did he do while she was in the United States? But I did feel for him in this moment. Right. What did you think, Katrina?
So, I mean, my first thought is very like, I'm very, you know, the cynical part of me is like, stop knocking up American women that are there on vacation. You know, maybe that would be a good solution. But since we're already here for the second time, I'm absolutely with you. This is heartbreaking to watch. You know, and not being able to be there when your son's having surgery is, you know, I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine not being there if my baby, I mean, because obviously it's just a baby, right?
Right.
If you know, not being able to be there. And then, I mean, as much as Ari is trying to reassure him that she's coming back, he doesn't know, you know, and he can't help but go back to that place where his ex left and didn't come back, and he's not, you know, seen his other son for so long. So yeah, it really, I mean, the few heartstrings that I do still have left, they got pulled a little bit in this moment.
I'm wondering what changed though over time, because we know that Ariella and Biniam were both in New York. So obviously he got granted some sort of access into the United States. And I'm wondering when he came, if he was able to see his other child. I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't know any details of that. I mean, we know that she was back, obviously, but I don't know any details about him being here, or like how he got, like, there are certain things like being granted compassionate heart, type of visas that are very limited. Like, I think, which is what he was granted to go be there, to be in the United States when his first son was born, because there was some kind of medical issue happening. So he was granted some kind of like compassionate medical related thing where he could go and be there. But I don't know the circumstances surrounding this time.
Okay.
It could all just be storyline too. All this
Jason,
other stuff.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Jason, did this tug at your heartstrings, the few that you also have left?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit, but I mean, also, I really do. I'm team Ariella on this. I honestly, if I put myself in that situation, I would want to bring my baby home and, go see doctors in the States. So I don't know.
But not to say though that they don't have good doctors there. I think she was just saying
no,
that.
I'm not saying that, but as Americans, that's what we think, right? That's what we've been kind of like trained to. The doctors here are the best, or whatever. And I'm sure her mom works in the medical industry, and does her dad too, I believe.
Her dad's a doctor, I believe.
Yeah, so I would want to go home. I mean, if my parents were doctors, so.
And watching the upcoming scene for the next episode, I believe it's her sister or it's a cousin. It's somebody who's sitting across the table from her, asking her, "Okay, you did this. How long are we going to play? And go back and forth to Ethiopia? When is this going to stop? Like, when are you going to check back into real life?" And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, that's insulting as hell. That's where her family is. And if that's the life she chooses, then butt the hell out of it.
Yeah, and real life is not just what happens here.
Right, exactly. That's fair too.
That's a very, very American egocentric view of the world. It harkens back to, oh God, I can't remember her name, but the girl with the apples in the New England, and her boyfriend was from Spain. And David, maybe.
Oh, no, I'm blanking.
I can't remember her name. Was it? And she later went on to be on American Idol. She was very Jesus family, like. And
yes. I remember who you're talking about. Oh my gosh. Guys in the chat, you guys know who Christine is talking about. Go ahead and comment below, because
they had a conversation where she was talking about the American dream. Everybody wants the American dream, and he's like, no. Not everybody does,
Yeah, which is definitely, it is a very ego. I've had so many of these lives talking about 90 Day, and when we have other people on who are from outside of the United States, they're like, I don't know what ego train you guys are on, but believe it or not everybody wants to be in the U.S. And I'm like, well, that's fair, because I think that would be. It's just ridiculous to say if you live in your own country, well, everybody's so jealous of being. Of us being here, they just want to be here because this is the best of the best. And it's
just after touring for so long and traveling, I've been to like 28 countries, and we sat down for a long time when we were performing. So it was fun to like be kind of I don't know how to say it, but just to be in that atmosphere and the environment of another country, another way of thought, another way of thinking. And that's why I like watching 90 Day Fiance the other way, because I love to watch Americans go to new places and new countries and think things are so different and weird, and it's not like home. And it's like, this is the rest of the world. This is why I like this show better than, It
was Evelyn and David.
Evelyn, yes. Oh my God, it is another Evelyn.
Oh yes, it was another Evelyn and David. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm going to go on to the next couple really quick, because I just want to, I want to celebrate this couple for a second, because they decided to go figure out what was going on with their marriage license. And when they did, they got the best news ever. And they found out, listen, you don't have to file paperwork anymore, because the state has decided that everybody is entitled to marriage. And I was like, oh, this is amazing, especially that they get to do that with their, Armando's daughter, Hannah. And this is just one less hurdle that they have to get over. It's just kind of showing growth within the state over there. And I'm saying within the state, I know it's within Mexico, but they said within the state. Right. So guys, don't come for me in the chat. But the point is, this was definitely something to celebrate. And I was happy for them, because they don't really, in my opinion, offer a whole lot of storyline to the show, but they are our gay couple on the show. And there are some things, like watching it as a viewer, watching Armando have the tough conversations with his dad, there's some stuff that I could see, okay, this would be relatable to part of the audience, the LGBTQIA plus audience, because that was an uncomfortable conversation I had to have, Jason had to have. So I get where they make sense on the show, but they just don't have dramatic storylines. I guess that's what it is. They don't have dramatic.
I find their storyline, not only relatable, but I think they do add a lot to the storyline because it's real life. It's authentic. Right. They're dealing with, a blended family of two gay men who have had kids. I think their storyline is great. I think it's a lot of fun to watch. And it's nice, just like when we talk about housewives and stuff, it is nice to not see the over dramaticism of these scenes. It's kind of nice to watch a real couple go through a real thing. I think this is as real as it gets for this franchise.
Right. And I've said this before about them. So you've got Armando and Kenny, who are just about universally loved. Right. Because their story, TLC made a decision to show their story in a real, genuine, authentic way. They could have taken it in a different direction, but they didn't. So I have to give props to TLC for that. Good job, Matt Sharp. But so you have this genuine couple going through real things, the blending of families, like you said, Jason, the blending of families, the talk with Armando's conversation with his dad. Like beautiful. I might have popped a tear. That
was another one of your very, very few heartstrings that was tugged at.
Right. That, and then I think one of them got pulled when his father gave Cass the necklace. Like,
oh yeah.
How, this relationship and this family blending and the conversation that Cass was having with Armando's sister and mom when they were shopping for the fabric for Hannah's dress and stuff, like very real, genuine things. And these are things that couples universally deal with, right? There's something in this situation that you would relate to on a personal level. And I think that is also what draws people to them, as a couple and as a storyline. So you don't have the fake dramatics and hysterics, but you have this genuine, heartfelt conversation with Armando and his father being like, yeah, I think I can accept this. Just give me a sec with the wedding part of it, and he was very honest about that. He's like, no, I love you. And Armando had talked about this history of not really having conversations with his father. And then he has one, and it's about this of all things. And Armando makes the statement to Kenny, was like, look, it took me 30 years to accept my gayness. Like, my dad's just had a weekend here. Like, give him a sec,
Yeah. Relax, Kenny.
Yeah, well, but I understand Kenny's position too, because he's like, he's wanting to be accepted, and he comes from a world where none of this is his reality, and he comes from the complete opposite of this. And that's hard to do when you're merging those kinds of families where those two people have personal family experience that is completely opposite. Your family of origin cause you to have such different, I'm gonna get all psychotherapy here, but you have these different upbringings that cause you to have completely different situations and views of what family is. And then they're trying to merge. And so Kenny's trying to he has his experience and expectation, and Armando has his, and they're trying to merge them. And that is a very, very, very common thing when in the world. Right. So again, relatable. People really I think tune into them and really cheer for them. So when you see that scene where they're getting their marriage license, and Mexico is, raising this up and doing things, being more open in a way that a lot of the United States is not doing. You talk about life being better in certain areas, certain world countries versus America, right? Where we purport to accept this, but we're still fighting a lot of, the world is still fighting a lot of issues, or the United States is still fighting this. You've got Mexico, and you can't help but cheer. Right. For this next step, because you love them and they're so genuine, and everybody can relate to some aspect of their story. And so even if you want to fight it, and the cynicism in me is like, no. I can't help it. I can't help it but root for them and cheer for them.
I agree with you. All right. So since we didn't have many couples to go off of this episode, and we obviously didn't get to see Ellie and Victor, I do want to go around the room and ask really quick. And Katrina, I'll start with you. What are you looking forward to most next week? What storyline is catching your attention, if any, or at least what would you be watching for?
I want to see Ellie and Victor. I've been talking about them from the beginning. I want to see more of their genuine relationship. And I don't want to see this forced narrative of, them navigating the aftermath of the hurricane. There's a real narrative there. I want to see the real narrative. I don't want to see the forced narrative. And when I first saw them together, there was a genuineness about them, and I want to see more from them. And since we didn't get them this week, we're going to get them more next week. That's just, how they do it. So
right. I'm
looking forward to seeing that. And against my better wishes, I'm looking forward to seeing Ari and Binyam to see what happens.
Right.
I feel like so much of their storyline is fake, or trumped up by producers, but there's an undercurrent of realness of things that triggered that, right? So real things happened to trigger these inflated storylines. So I want to see what those are. Curious, morbid curiosity. I don't know, but that genuine issue of Benny not being there for Avi's surgery and all that, like that gets me. My kid is 17, but if he was, 7 months old, like,
It's terrible. Yeah, this is a terrible situation. I feel so bad. All right, Jason, what are you looking forward to most?
The most I'm looking forward to watching Sumit's mom teaching.
I knew you were going to say that.
Jenny how to roll some dough and make some food. I'm so excited.
And just telling
if I'm going to watch this, I want to see a mess. You know what I mean?
Well, and she's just telling her, like, where Jenny can't understand, but just how, like, stupid she thinks she is. And she's like, oh, you don't know shit. You don't know how to do anything. You don't know. And Jenny's just smiling like, uh-huh. Yeah.
I went from feeling bad for Jenny to now, like, this is your own doing, so I'm just gonna watch it unfold and it's just gonna get worse and worse.
Yes. All right, well, with that, guys, we have a lot of other videos to do today, and don't forget, tonight we will be back for Hot Messy Topics. Instead of 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it will be at 5 p.m. because we have to catch the James Bond movie, thanks to Jason. So we will be sitting in the theater for 3 hours and 10 minutes. I'm so excited, guys. Don't forget, it's a subscribers only live chat. So if you guys want to get involved, have an unfiltered opinion, if you don't agree with me, rip my head off. I don't give a shit. I'm welcoming it. But don't forget, you have to subscribe in order to do so. So that will be at 5 p.m. Katrina, for those who are living under a rock, can you please let us know where we can find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Frauded Media.
Frauded Media. Yes. And I will also attach that to the description of this video. Thank you so much, Katrina. We appreciate you. And this was so last minute. I hope you got your workout in that you said you had to cram in before this.
I did. I mean, I came just for, I had to put Lippy on because I can't be on a live with two of the best, looking guys.
Okay. I'm in my pajamas.
Okay. All right. Well, I had to put Lippy on for that, but otherwise, literally came just for my Peloton, where I did a 007 stretch with Ben Aldis.
Nice.
Okay, very on theme.
Right, exactly. So so thank you guys for letting me crash in here, and I probably should get back to work, but thank you for letting me crash. I love you guys. To my own subscribers, make sure you follow them. But if they're watching this, they're following you. So,
hey, well, Katrina, we appreciate you, and we hope to work with you again in the future. Of course, we talked about the podcast, so we will.
Yes, I'm going to have you guys co-host the podcast with me.
Awesome! I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm excited to come over into your world. Ooh. Let's do it.
All right, Katrina. It's messy.
Oh gosh!
I love it.
Listen, few heartstrings. We get the vibe. We got it. All right, Katrina. We'll see you soon.
Glitter, you'll fit right in. Love you guys. Thank you.
Bye. She's fun.
Yeah, she's great. All right, Jason. Before we go, can you let everybody know where we can find you?
Yes, of course. You can find me at Down with Jason, where we talk about anything entertainment, royal news, and especially reality TV. I just dropped a royal video right before we came on here. Also, we are going live at 12:15 today to discuss Garcelle meeting up with Lisa, and we'll show some photos and talk about some fun things. Now, I'm still new at live, so if you are coming over and you want to talk Housewives, please come over. I'm going to open up the chat. You can call in. It's good practice for me, and it'll be a lot of fun.
All right, guys, make sure to go catch the 12:15 live, which means that's happening in 35 short minutes. And Adam has a meeting at the bank. Yeah, that's the worst thing that anybody could be doing. So wish me luck with that. Jason, we'll see you soon. Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button. Show some love. Go check out Jason's channel. And also Frauded Media. Check out Katrina because she's hilarious and so on point. I'll see you guys tonight for Hot Messy Topics. Bye, guys. Love you.
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.